I had the chance to be in Singapore when Dentsu organized his annual event. So it was, I don't know, 2-3 days of big parties. We brought our social robot on stage, and so everybody could enjoy. So it was a very fantastic event. I'm quite happy to be here because I really liked Dentsu people and the style in Singapore. The event was very nice. Yeah. Okay, so I just like to speak about social robot Nadine today, and you can see it's a mixture of me and the robot. The robot was done according to my face, at least I designed it. So what I like to give this morning as a message is, with the robot, willingness, automaton is nothing new in the story of humanity. So you see this image. If you go to Greece, you hear a lot of talos. You have talos pizza and so on. It has come in every shops. Why? Because talos, they were dreaming of having a giant out of bronze. He was very big. And because he was very big, 30 feet tall, so he was able to defend the island of Crete against all enemies. And in Greece at the time, before Christus, they had a lot of gods. And they all showed that, in fact, that's something that could help humanity to defend what we have. So you see, this is the superstars of today. If you look at superstar heroes, this Talos could be one of those. So you see, the dream started before Christus, and all the time the technology went on to be able to, in concrete ways, to define this, let's say, robot or superhero. So here what you see, Leonardo da Vinci in the Western world is a reference. So you see in the 15th century, Leonardo already with the mechanics he knew was able to define like night. And this night is a reality. We have found the drawings. The knight was able to bow when everybody, VIP, was passing by. So there are many examples of this kind of automaton. So of course they didn't have software, but they had the capacity to go ahead. So you see, we are in 15th century. The big dream, as soon as Newton physics law came, and afterwards there was to do automaton. Now, if we go further, in Switzerland, Switzerland is very well known for the watch and micro electronics, and this dates out from the 18th century. And if you go to Switzerland, you find a few museums where you can find fully automaton. But these automaton are very nice because they are like real people, but of course it's a piece of art in porcelain. And they are able to write, or they are able to sing, or they are able to play music, play piano. So you see, the concept of automaton is fully there. So when you go to Switzerland, you think, or in other countries too, if you go to France or Germany, you can find also some working examples. So you see, the dreams goes on. We are in the 18th century. People was passionate about physics. And I just show you a small excerpt from the BBC that has, let's say, show what it is able to do. So this is an automaton in Switzerland Museum.
One of the most remarkable realizations of CAM technology is a device in the shape of a small boy. It's perhaps the world's most astonishing surviving automaton. What's on this card is a piece of writing made by a 240-year-old machine. One of my favorite machines, one of the most magnificent automata of the 18th century. It's this boy, this writer. He was built in Switzerland by Pierre Jacques-Droz, one of Switzerland's greatest clockmakers. And the aim was, I think, to mechanize reason and automate the passions. Jacques-Droz was about 50 years old in the early 1770s when he designed and built this masterpiece.
So there are
Inside
thousands
the
of
boy
motors.
are almost 6,000 parts. What's astonishing is that every one of these crafted components has been refined and miniaturized to fit completely inside the body of the boy himself. What Jacques Droz did was to use the technologies of homeostasis, of miniaturization, to build really a true automaton. Inside the little writer is all his source of energy and all the machinery that drives him. He works on his own.
Anyway, I don't like to keep the past too long, but just it is an idea for you that, you know, some people are asking me many times, why you do that? Okay, I'm just a follower of the history past. I'm nothing else. I just have this dream. I continue, you know. And particularly because as a Swiss person, when I was a child, I went with my parents to see this automaton. So it was very important for me. Okay, so today we speak, why suddenly we speak of AI, we speak of this autonomous robots. In fact, as you know, you have heard, we have two things which recently has changed. First of all, with a computer, you can track a lot of information. So this is new. Before you type something in a computer and that's it. Now you can capture gestures, you can capture sounds, you can capture a lot of images that can be analyzed. So we have millions of data. So this is, let's say, the novelty during these last 10 years. In parallel, we have more memory, more networks, and so on. Now, because of that, the data before were considered as, dead data. Today, we know that data can be organized and has information. In fact, if you link data, you annotate them, then you can, if you have, for example, a new face, I see somebody new, the computer can relate in the database and see if this kind of person is already inside and immediately say yes, or to keep it in the database, and when the person next is coming, recognize the person. So this is, you know, through AI algorithm is a methodology that now from this huge data we can take advantage. So actually most of the computer science is based upon big data. So that's a big change also when we work on this area. So, you know, we come to AI today. So, you know, as I explained to you, people see very often when I give talks AI like a magic. It's nothing magic. It's for each application you do. I just give you an example of recognition of face. So when you do recognition of face, you need a huge data of faces. And when the computer sees a new face, the computer is able, at the contrary of us who are unable to compare one new image of a face to millions of images and of the faces, and to find out what are the resemblance or the difference. So this is what is done. So when I do gestures, the computer also say, okay, maybe I'm agitated. Why? Because the computer has a database of normal gestures, and if I move too much, he has also animated data and can detect I am maybe agitated, and so on. So this AI is applying in every functionality and not like a magic on something. Yeah, and you have all kind of people in their beliefs today. You have people saying, okay, the more we go, the more, of course, the computer will be more clever. I mean, they can have a lot of information from the data that we are unable to have. Why? Because we don't have so big memory, and we are unable to compare one thing with millions or billions. We are unable. So, of course, it comes to the point that people ask, well, is it that they will overtake human intelligence? So some of them say, yes, in 16 years, you know, these big, very well-known people other one say, oh, in 2100, and others say, never. So you see that there are discrepancy in the beliefs. Myself, I think that it may be in many functions that computers will be able to do better than we do, have more logic. So what I feel very fancy is humans have always been considered as great because they are intelligent. And the challenge today is we humans produce machines that are intelligent, and maybe they will be more intelligent than us, more logic. So in fact, the big topic you have to think about is what is a human? And fortunately, a human stays a human, because I think myself is not the QI of a human that makes a human. I think is our complexity, our difficulties, our enthusiasm, our emotions, and all that. Because what you will see next is that a machine, a robot, is only able to simulate. But Nadine, even if she looks very real, feels nothing. It's like a computer. She's a machine. Okay, so let's go to Nadine. The name is a social robot. So yesterday she was on Skype in Solkovo. We saw her on Skype, so I could discuss with her freely. And here you see her, and why we speak of social robot, because this type of robot is not to clean the floor or to run or make soccer, number one, is not the goal of this robot. The goal of this robot is to have a companion. When you have nobody, and particularly myself, I'm very sensitive for elderly. Myself, I have 3 daughters, so I dream hard, brave 3 daughters, which they are brave. Eventually, when I'm in an elderly home or I'm aged, they will take care of me. No, they will work like you in Denso or elsewhere. They have no time. So because they will have no time, I know it. So in this case, who will take care of me? We know that it's high price for having somebody, at least in most countries like Singapore and Switzerland, and we cannot afford. So because of that, at least when nobody is there, maybe we have a nice Nadine. At least I wish I can get benefit of this research myself. Okay, so you see what I said before. We have to pay extreme attention between 2 things. This is the superstars that are shown. And a lot of people tell me, Nadine, she cannot do like in Westworld series. I said, listen, in Westworld series, they are people, these actors. It's nothing to do with technology. It's just, let's say, people who imagine, but it's nothing technologically driven. So because of that, it's all imagination. So we don't speak of robot, it's imagination like Talos, The dream is the same. Okay, now we go to the reality. Who are the robots present today, the humanoid ones? I didn't mention all, but let's say I mentioned the most well-known. You see here Sophia, which was, I think, in Russia last year, and she's pretty much, let's say, question-driven. She's not on her own. You can look at the Wikipedia site. There's quite a lot of discussion about her, because the David Hansen, who I know very well, is a Disney guy, so he likes to put the robot like a fancy robot, saying, I like to be rich, I like to have children. The difficulty with that is that people believe that. Some of them, because when I give talk, they say, well, Nadine cannot have children, but Sophia said she can have children. So we have to pay attention. These robots are machines, and ethically we should absolutely follow ethics. Otherwise, some people believe what they hear. So this one in the middle is from mostly Ishiguro, professor in Tokyo, and then in Osaka, and these are very many, some example in Japan. And of course, this is Nadine in Singapore, and all the rest are more, let's say, robot style. Pepper is small like that. Asimo is quite capable, but of course looks robot. And Atlas, maybe you have seen, is one of the most advanced robots in terms of walking. This robot can walk on uneven terrains if it's snow, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, this billion-dollar robot. You know, it has used 30 years to develop this. Now it has been bought by SoftBank. Most robots, except Nadine and Sophia, belong to SoftBank in Japan. SoftBank has bought most of it, yeah. Okay, so you see, to make the reality out of Nadine, because many people show like that, but myself I show you without the skin. Nadine is like that, so when we see that, the romance goes away, because we see, oh gosh, it's just metallic parts and motors and actuators, cables, you know, and as a robotician, it's how we work. We work with cable, actuators, motors, and at the end of the day, we put the skin like on Nadine, but this is the reality. So, you know, when this kind, some unethical people let robots say, I dream of this, I dream to be married, I fall in love, is unethical. Why? Because it's not true. It's really not true, and we have to pay attention, because, as I said, some people are believing. So here, it's one of the most technical diagram idea to show you. You know, is how Nadine works, because if you are interested, some of you, how is it? You have, for example, Nidhi, a researcher in my institute, and she's talking to Nadine. What does Nadine do? So she takes images from a camera she has behind her, and she can make face recognition. She can analyze the gestures of Nidhi, understand in which context she is, and of course, with a microphone, you see here, she can understand the speech, okay? So this is all the input that Nadine can have. Now Nadine has another software module, which is in the middle, and in the middle we have defined emotion module. What does it mean? We have taken models from psychologists, and this model from psychologists have a definition of what is a personality, what is mood, and what is emotion. And as soon as, you know, we have input, there is software analysis about the parameters of the input, and Nadine, with this module, is able to detect, okay, through the image, the intonation, and the gestures, let's say this person is happy, so then in this case, Nadine will answer or prepare an answer that she is happy in her behavior. You understand? Yeah, it's just to explain to you how it works. And of course, what is very important if we simulate humans is to add a memory. So Nadine has a huge memory. So whatever she gets, for example, she knows me, so she will say, hello, Nadia. And then for me, she has a data set for me only. But if you have hundreds of people, for each of them, she keeps data set and all information. So she will be always able, okay, 3 months ago, 1 year ago, you said that. She can analyze which humans cannot do. So you see, that's the capacity. And social attention is, okay, she, according to talk to her, she has to look at you, gaze, and so on. And the chat box, of course, is all the analysis of the language. I will show you afterwards. And of course, after this, she creates the answer. So the answer is she has to look according and to say something according to what she has heard. So if, for example, I tell her, I have a bad news, I heard that, and I said, she has to behave the same way, not saying hi, you know, like social skills. So this is how we work on. And it's quite a lot of work, I tell you. We work like ants. That means small progress. And this is forever, because I think to have a natural partner like us, we need to work many years more. So it's more the beginning, I would say. Okay, so here, this is an image of what we like to have. For example, here you have Nadine in Singapore, 2 other guys. She is in US, and the other one is an avatar. So it's a bit the mixed society of tomorrow, you know. Mixed society today, we think, okay, we take the migrants, we take the American, we take the Asian, and we're mixed. But tomorrow we have not only that, we have the computer people, you understand? So this is your vision, particularly for the young one, it's for you, myself. anyway, I will be a pioneer, that's it. Okay, so here you see what we do. We have researchers here that can track, for example, what people do, and then have the information of the gesture. So it's what I say, when we do pictures, they can understand how long they move, how they move, and so on. This is what Nadine gets as information when she has somebody in front of her. Okay, here is a bit more complex. I just try to show you, because to go through the black box is, you know, we have a model, you know, you have to understand that in computer anyway, is always equations and, you know, mathematical models at the end of the day. So here, when we speak of personality mood, it's a computational model that, depending on the intensity of the relationship, here in this is always calculated what is the mood of the person and how Nadine should react. So at any instant, Nadine has to calculate that, Nadine being a computer. Okay, so this is, maybe I just show you a video of an interaction from my student with Nadine.
Hi Nadine.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Let's talk about today's plan.
Okay,
What's your plan today?
I like go shopping.
You look pretty today.
Oh, thank you.
You are so nice.
So nice you are.
You see the cube where
Yeah, so
calculations are being done in real time.
Yeah, you're really kind. I really like you.
Shall we go swimming?
I would like to go swimming with you.
But you look ugly today.
Do not say so. We are good friends.
Your voice sounds sleepy.
Do not fool me.
You are so boring.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like to talk with you.
I am sorry for that. I hope you can change your mind.
You are so mean.
What is wrong with you today?
I don't like to go with you.
Let us stop.
Shall we go swimming?
Something without you.
Goodbye.
You do not have to come back.
Okay, so this is a complex diagrams here. Maybe, I don't know if you can read it, but it's just to tell you that, for example, just for the speech is quite a lot of research. So many hundreds, thousands of researchers are working on speech recognition around the planet. And of course, in Google, a lot of people are working, in Microsoft too, in Bayou, in China. I mean, I just cite the most very well-known. So here, from the signals that is being captured, we have to, and also from the face recognition, we have to understand and put this into text. And then when we have this, we have to understand what is the meaning of the language. So it's natural language processing. So in our case, we take existing data set or algorithm, for example, from Stanford or from other places, in order we can help the understanding of Nadine. It's not perfect so far. We have always to work, but okay, it's going better and better. And once it is recognized, it's a generation. It goes to the memory module to check if already something similar was said, the relationship and so on. And what all this is done, then there is a generation of the answer that should be correct. You see, so this is quite a research in itself. Okay, so here you can see an example.
Hello, Nadine.
Hi, it's delightful to see you.
It's a memory
My name is
example.
Felix.
It's good to meet you, Felix.
I'm a student in the marketing department at the business school.
What do you study then?
I study consumer behavior.
Is consumer behavior a hard subject?
Yes, but interesting.
All right, I thought so too.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Nadine. I'm a social companion.
You look beautiful today.
Thanks. You look attractive too.
It is so nice to talk with you.
It is my pleasure to talk with you too.
How do you feel today?
Always cheer when I see you,
Why do you feel that way?
because you are so nice to me.
What are some things that you can do?
I am the receptionist. I can help and assist people.
What are some of your hobbies?
I like to volunteer my time to help others. How about you?
My hobby is playing tennis.
You said that you study consumer behavior. I like to play tennis too.
What are the jobs that you can do in the future?
I can look after and entertain elderly and young people.
Could you remember my name?
Your name is Felix.
What is my hobby?
You said that your hobby is playing tennis.
What is my study?
You said that you study consumer behavior.
How can you be useful in a business setting?
I can work as a job interviewer, saleswoman, receptionist, social companion.
Can you remember some things I asked you earlier in this conversation?
You have asked me many things. For example, my name, my job, and my hobby.
Goodbye.
Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay, so another example is where Nadine has been for 6 months at the Art Science Museum in Singapore. You know, have you been in Singapore? Yes, so you see if you go to the Marina Bay, there is a casino and of course a beautiful shopping place. Just next to this there is a beautiful museum. This is the one you will see. And Nadine was there for 6 months, so there was a special exhibition on human class. And people were, there were never so many people coming and interacting freely with Nadine. So I just show you an example of that, yeah, of that things. What is your nationality?
I do not have any nationality. I am a global person.
Do you have feelings?
I am programmed to simulate a full range of human emotions.
What is the weather today?
There will be scattered thunderstorms in downtown Court today with a forecast high of 86 and a low of 78. It's currently 83 and mostly cloudy.
Thank you for the conversation.
It's been a pleasure to be in your company.
Bye-bye then.
See you later, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay, so to finalize my presentation, my message is to say, okay, you have seen that since early time, before Christus, we were all dreaming, our ancestors were dreaming to have automaton to do jobs for us. And you know what is nice too today is you have a lot of single person at home, either elderly, other young ones, or whatever, and sometimes you would like to have a partner to play piano, to talk, to learn something, to make fitness, you know. Myself, I will dream to have my personal coach for fitness, or, you know, to learn language. I like so much to learn Chinese, Russian, you understand? So if I have my private coach at home, whenever, you know, I take a bath, okay, Nadine, come here, and at the same time you teach me, you train me, you understand? So this is really a dream. So this is what I see. They will help us, if we are positive about it, to do things, a lot of things, and support us. You know, the same is, okay, you go out and you have somebody doing things for you. You know, it's a simple example, but let's say could do other things. And maybe most important, maybe you are all young in this, but you know, you think at your parents, grandparents, who take care of them. And you know, I have been visiting many homes because I like to do research for social robots for them, and I can see everywhere, reach Singapore, reach Switzerland. To give two examples where I have been living in Singapore 10 years now, in Switzerland many years, in Canada I'm also Canadian.